The Whine fridge. It ain't whining anymore. And in fact, today, I'm going to take it out of its misery. Last I had, well, actually, I think the only video I had on this was maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, where I replaced the power supply and then the other one died. So I said, fuck it all. And I just tied them together and I said, let it blow up. Well, it finally did. It took it a long time. It ran for probably, I'm thinking about a year before it finally crapped out completely. But that was actually rather surprising. I was expecting that this thing was going to crap out well sooner than that. And the plan was to run this off of a computer power supply, because the power supply boards for this thing were like 75 bucks if I recall, and at $75 you can get a computer power supply for way cheaper than that, and it's going to put out the same 12 volts. Now in the thing that I did, tying them together, I had to disable all of the sensors and the front panel control and all that good stuff there, because the board had additional circuitry on it for that, and that just was not going to jive with the way I had it wired up, and that was perfectly alright with me. Now we have 3 more screws down here. This thing is such a pain, and they wanted you to open this thing and clean it once a year, and generally anytime I would open it to go and clean it, a power supply would just crap out, and I wasn't hitting it with static electricity, and I wasn't doing anything I wasn't supposed to be. It just didn't work. It's crappy Chinese power supply boards, and that was the story with it. So there's one screw that is stuck, but it's out anyway. And one I left at the top just to keep it in place up here, which is why I did that. Usually you leave the center one, but it really doesn't make a difference. Well, I'll have to find that screw. Ah, yeah. The dust isn't that bad. This is like foam and crap. That's really what most of that is. My wiring with the electrical tape on it is just fine. That's all staying put. That's all fine and good. And what I'm going to do is study this for a minute and see what I did, where everything is hooked up, and then we're going to go ahead and hook a computer power supply up to it. The one I have is old and knackered, and last I knew it was putting out like 10.9 volts, but we'll see, you know. So as per the inspection, everything is disconnected except for a ground wire on the bottom board. The top board has all this stuff hooked up. We don't need any of that anymore. There's no sense disconnecting it, but we're going to anyway. This is maybe a little more involved than I thought. These are the main power wires, the black and red. So we're going to cut those right off the board, which I think I had to solder on. And I need to see, any wire with a splice is going to have to be wired together with the things to make the fans run. So I'm going to keep cutting. I could undo that, but whatever. Put that in there just so I don't lose it. And I'm going to start wiring this up before I forget where everything goes. And we'll see if we can make it run. This power supply has not surfaced in a long time. And that was the supply I was talking about. This is out of a Compaq computer So definitely vintage in that regard. I have some fan twerp quality wiring over here. Tied all the reds and the blacks together. I can't see any reason why it would blow up exactly, so we'll call that good. And up top over here I have a DC voltmeter and the Michael Geggs watt meter. So let me get zoomed in on those displays. Just a little more. There we are. So we're reading at 119 volts, 118.9, same difference. The DC volts is nothing because the power supply is not plugged in. It is not connected to the fridge. I just want to see what the output is going to be today, if anything. Oh, not bad. 12 volts. The fan in it is running. Oh, it's doing a lot better today. 12.7. Is it going to blow up? Jeez. 12.83, 12.84, 8.5. It's pulling 3.9 watts, 12.9 and climbing. Let's see if it'll hit 13 just for shits and grins. Yeah, it looks like it probably will. That's good. Okay, let's disconnect it. That was 3.9 watts of AC current. That'll be important later. That's fine. Get my wires over here. And I'm gonna back you out so you can see what I'm doing, and I'll call out the readings. Maybe just in frame there. My meter lead fell out. I don't know if that's entirely important, but I'll see if I can put it back. There we go. Oopsie. Okay, black and red. Hopefully China didn't wire this backwards. It's either going to power it or something's going to go pop. So let's see what happens. Oh, it starts up. That runs like it always did. Down to 9.64 volts. That is definitely loading this thing down. Pulling 49.4, 0.3, 0.2 watts. Temp gun, I have 76 degrees, 73 degrees. Okay, it's running. Now if I feel it, I think a little warmth. This one is cold. But it's all wired together, so I don't know. Maybe it failed too. This one is definitely getting warm. 79, 73. So I'm wondering if this one is pooched now. The fans are running. Clean some of the dust off. That's how you do it. That's the technical way. And as far as in the unit itself, I'll come around. I have fans running. The top one seems to be putting out cool-ish air. The bottom one not so much. Top one is reading 66 degrees. Bottom one 70. Out here 82 degrees. 73. So this one doesn't appear to be getting power, or the Peltier junction is pooched. 9.73 volts, 46 watts. Let's kill power. I'm going to stop down for a minute, and I want to see and make sure the wires are connected to this Peltier junction. Without a question, everything is certainly still connected. So, powering it back up. 54 watts peak, 9.74 on the voltmeter. And that is really loading this thing down. I think I'm just going to leave it run for a little bit, you know, tempt fate a little, and see if temperatures improve at all. I guess I'll close the door for what it's worth. And we'll just let that shoot for a while. Alright, it's been running a good 5 minutes. Solid 9.7 volts on the DC rail. AC power 45.6, so we'll just call it 45. It varies a little. Temp check. 86. 72. So this one is either completely failed or is still not making a good connection. We'll find that out later as we delve further into this. Inside, top one is 56, 55, bottom one is 70. So the bottom one is most certainly not putting out any cold air. Wouldn't it just be the shit if that Peltier junction failed also? Just to top it all off? Don't buy a wine fridge. Oh, they had it at Home Depot, $89. Here's a Christmas present. No, it's not. It's a Christmas heartache. So if you got one of these, return this. That's past your return policy. We'll take it back without a receipt, but anyway. Let's power it down for the final time. That is the end. We'll disconnect the meters. Don't want this to fall. It's stuck there. That's fine there. We can leave that on. And disconnect the wires. Move this out of the way. There are 2 screws on the heatsink. Something is telling me by taking these 2 screws out, the heatsink is not going to want to come out with the Peltier junction, and or none of it will go. It is screwed rather tightly, probably for better heat conduction. The screw does not want to remove. There. Long screw. Might save those. The other ones are just too short to be useful. And if I could get in this screw, there it is. So far it hasn't budged, which is exactly what I figured. I think this foam insulation crap or whatever they used is going to do us in pretty good. It's moving a little. There he goes. There it is. Oh, nice. Nice. So there is, yeah, that's actually cold. So some weather stripping here. Some foam, styrofoam. Peltier junction, definitely cold there. That's all good. Don't know if you can see the metal is bent outwards here, which means the screws were tightened to a point where the soft metal gave. So that's nice. And wires, we gotta get those disconnected. And there's a Peltier junction. So that's the good one. And as far as there's fans in here, I got to see about, looks like they might come out from the inside. Did I rip the wires out of it? I see wires here. No. They probably come through here somewhere. So let us take out the other screws. And then we can test these individually. terrible. What, I mean, the construction is awful on this thing. This is like a Fantwerk put this together. The wiring was my special touch. Because of the failed circuit boards. The wiring was actually not done too bad considering everything else. We'll worry about that screw later. A Peltier junction. There's the screw. Here it is. Okay. It's got a convenient screw tray right at the bottom here for condensation. Now it's a screw tray. So there, that's all of that. This is for the LEDs inside. We'll rip those out later on. I think that runs on 5 volts. Not certain on that. So let me just peek on the inside. Okay, there's a plastic panel that is somehow attached. Okay, I think they have screws on it or something. Is it just, can I just do that? Not really. Ha! Well, this sucks. Alright, well, let's keep taking shit apart and see if I can get those fans out. No promises, but if not, they're not anything. Those sneaky bastards. I took out the middle shelf, screw, and one screw in the back, not two, for the LED. That's just on a circuit board, so we won't be able to save all the pretty fixture and that. Who cares? It's old junk. There's another LED at the top. These grills that are here are held in, covered over with these little rubber things. So I had to dig out 8 of those and then pull 8 screws. I pulled 6 out of the 8. And now we're going to pull out the last screw on the bottom. I don't know if the camera sees what I'm looking at. That fell right down. That's good. And one more over here on top. I hate to be the Chinaman that had to install all of this stuff. It's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws. Add that to our little box. Dunk. That comes out. The wiring is another story. I don't know how they ran that or what they did. I honestly don't know. I mean, these are the only other wires. I'll cut them, but I'm pretty sure it's somewhere inside. So we don't need that anymore. This all goes to the door. Do they come out down here? No, because I have them connected. Well, that one actually looks like it might. But there is no slack on these wires whatsoever. And on the inside, no way I'm going to get it to move, so they're just going to get cut off, and that's that. Let's see. There we are. So here's one of the fans, mounted with very small screws. I'll take those out at another time because I don't need any of that. Why is it greasy? That's nice. Okay, there's some sort of connector here, so that's good. That can just be pulled out. There it is. Put that in our little box. Other one, yep, same story. See, the wires are there. Maybe I'm just going to leave them connected just because. And I'm going to dismount these fans from this. Wow, you can hear the quality. Is the other one like that too? Sure is. All right, let me get those out. There are actually two more things we need from this. One is the LEDs on top, which I'll work on another time. But we need the tray over here because that has all the garbage. What's really nice is these screws that hold it in can go directly into the tray. The hell is that? That's a weird screw. That might be worth saving. I'll go through this before I dump it out, obviously, because we got the long ones that mounted the heat sinks, so that might be worth something. Might be useful. And there's our little tray of all the bits and bobs from this thing. So there's that. I guess this connector would be good too. Well, it goes to the other one, and there is no way to get that out. So we can clip off this wire. I should have done it this way. And cut that over there so that can go with the LEDs. Other way. No, the first way. No, the other way. One of these ways. Oh, it's sideways. That would explain it. Okay, there. So there's that. Only last thing on this, short of, it's kind of a nice ground wire that might be worth saving. Let's see what other parts we can scrounge off of this thing. Oh, the power cord, that's obvious. Definitely going to save that. So all the ground wires are now free. That's got a rubber grommet on it. There's a strain relief here, which I don't think is going to be of any use, but it'll help free the cord. So we'll take that out. Oh, multiple pieces even. That's crumbling. It broke. It's broken. They can't even do that right, really? That's pretty squished. It does just unplug. It's supposed to. Does it have a clip? Maybe? There it is. Alright, so our power cord is now free. That's a score. Definitely can use those always. Got some ground wires with a ring terminal at the end, so I can't see any reason why that wouldn't be good to have. Lost a little piece here. Another ground wire on this. Cut that one off. So we got that. And I think that's it for the rest of the goodies on this, except for the top LEDs. Let's see. This is garbage. That is garbage. And let's see if we can power up the bad Peltier junction and see what that does.